Welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I am Adam. Funny story. I did an episode yesterday about Parasite. I forgot to upload it, so that's going to go up as I'm recording this now. That's going up. At the end of that, I said I was going to see Weathering with You, which is an anime movie that I know nothing about. Change of plans. I did not see that movie because I knew it had something to do with Your Name, because when I googled the movie, it came up with the movie Your Name as a related result. So I wanted to check that out first. I wanted to see if it was the same director or, something. I wanted to see what the similarity was to warrant that. It seemed interesting. And I've seen Your Name a lot on Twitter. I've seen it in Best Buy, and it looked interesting based on the cover. It looked really pretty, I guess. So either way, didn't see that today. Instead, today I saw Little Women. As I always do these lengthy introductions on what movie I saw when it's in the title. You can't really, get around not spoiling it. It's in the title. So Little Women is what I saw today instead. This has to be going up tomorrow because I'm recording this on whatever today's date is, the 20-something, 22nd. It's going to go up on the 23rd. Little Women. There are two things I want to address about this movie. This movie's fantastic, by the way. It's an adaptation of the book by Louisa May Alcott. I have not read the book. I have not watched any prior iterations of this movie theatrically done. I went into this completely blind. I didn't have it spoiled for me in any way. I had no idea what it was about. Went into it. It was a fantastic movie. Here's the thing. This movie did not get nominated for Best Director. And I believe that I don't like saying it's a topical thing or a gender thing. This kind of feels like it, though, because when you watch the movie, there are two concurrent timelines going on. One that starts in a flashback 7 years prior, and one that is in quote-unquote the current time, which is from the start of the movie on to the end. And the two don't, and it's like, it goes from the beginning, and basically what happens is, one plot line is going from the 7 years prior to today, where we are, quote-unquote, today, and the other one's going from, today, continuing on from there. And the information is given to you steadily over time. And one of the things that very much reminded me of was Dunkirk, which also was phenomenal. Dunkirk was another amazing movie. And Dunkirk got, if you'll excuse me being crass, jerked off quite a bit by male cinephiles, I guess we'll call them, the dude bros of the film community. So I was like, oh, look what Christopher Nolan did. Look at this. It's so unique, so different. And I'm not taking anything from Christopher Nolan. I'm saying it's an interesting way to tell a story, to do it with scaling timelines and with the story interacting in different ways because of the fact that it's told in different periods of time at once. And it's an interesting way to look at film. And this movie does that, and does it in a very unique way. But these same people who are saying, like, oh, what Christopher Nolan did was amazing, and it's fantastic, are saying it was hard to follow here. It is no harder to follow than Dunkirk. And that's not to say Dunkirk's hard to follow. Neither of these movies are hard to follow. It's a very straightforward story, and it never gets confusing. You're never confused as to where we are in the story, what time we are. Everything's very straightforward, because it's two linear stories taking place at the same time. It's just one's 7 years prior and one's now. And people, like, Greta Gerwig got robbed for not getting nominated for Best Director for this movie. She 100% deserved that nomination. I don't understand how the fuck that didn't happen. Like, what the fuck? And I'm not one to get, like, if you've listened to the podcast, I'm not someone who's going to get all up in arms about this kind of thing. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, did I not see the same movie that the voting body of the Academy saw? Like, how the fuck does Quentin Tarantino's nonsense get nominated, but this doesn't? This movie was miles better than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, nothing done in Marriage Story compares to what was done here. And not only that, Laura Dern was in both, and Laura Dern does a substantially better job in this movie than she did in Marriage Story. She's got, like, one or two good scenes in Marriage Story. Here, she's in the movie so little here. She functionally carries it on her back, though. She does such a good job in her performance. there was one performance I want to call out and say wasn't very good. This actress can't do an American accent to save her life, and that's saying something, considering of the four main characters in the movie, you have Saoirse Ronan, who's Irish. She does an Irish accent. You have, I don't know the actress who played Beth. I've never seen her before. I thought it was Alison Pill, but it wasn't. I have no idea who it was. And then when I saw the credits, it didn't help me either. So she may or may not be English. Florence Pugh is British, and Emma Watson is also British. Emma Watson cannot do an American accent to save her life. She couldn't do it in any movie prior to this point, and here you also have that same thing where it kind of like leaks through. And it's not even like what Katie McGrath does on Supergirl, which plays Lena. She kind of leans into it a little bit because she's Irish and she's got a little bit of an Irish accent. But she leans into it a little bit and kind of makes it part of her voice, and you can hear it, but it fits in with what she's doing. It's not like it's an accent bleeding through. It's her. Emma Watson's accent bleeds through the entire time, and it's not. She doesn't disappear into a role in the same way Chris Evans disappeared into Ransom in Knives Out. She's Hermione, and when you have a role like that, like her, she doesn't quite hit like what Daniel Radcliffe can do, where it's like. You for a second look, oh, that's Harry Potter, and then you snap away from it, and you're like, and then you can go back to the movie, and he disappears into the role. He's no longer playing Harry Potter. He's playing whoever it is he's playing. Same thing with Robert Pattinson, Kristen Stewart, Scarlett Johansson, and there's no show of actors who can do that. But then you got like Robert Downey Jr. You have who's the other one? Emma Watson in this case. There are other actresses and actors who, once they have that big role, that's forever who's going to define them. Every character they play after that's going to be playing the same kind of character, just slightly different. And that's kind of what Emma Watson's doing here. She's playing a very similar character to Hermione. You don't really match the difference. She didn't really disappear into the role of Belle either for Beauty and the Beast. And so, when all is said and done, that was the only real gripe I had about the movie. And the third thing isn't so much a gripe about the movie as much as it is about the Academy Awards. Here's the problem. I think that when it comes to the Best Supporting Actor role, the Best Supporting Actor or Actress Oscar, if there are too many people who could possibly get that role, it ends up splitting, and the voters for the Academy are not going to put that many people from the same movie into the nomination. They're going to be like, okay, for Little Women, who was the best in the supporting actress role? And you have, and Florence Pugh got the nomination for obvious reasons. But I think it could be beneficial, and I've said this before with Straight Outta Compton. I've said this with August Osage County. All these big ensemble movies where you have a large supporting cast. A blanket Best Supporting Cast Academy Award could help clear that up. So that way everyone gets the recognition that they deserve, and this movie would benefit from that greatly. Because there's so many people in this movie who do such a good job that you can't really, that they deserve recognition for it, but they're not going to get it, because either the role was too small, or it was, or there's too many people who did a good job, and it's kind of getting blurred together. So like Laura Dern got nominated definitely for Marriage Story. I don't think she also got nominated for Little Women, though. But, that's another thing, where it's that would be helpful for a movie like this. If you have not seen Little Women yet, definitely go see this movie. It is fantastic. It is so well done on every front, that you can even overlook Emma Watson's shoddy acting at times, and her accent going in and out. But I genuinely don't understand how this happened. When I saw there was outcry that Greta Gerwig didn't get nominated, I thought it was another Lady Bird situation, where Lady Bird was a fantastic movie, but just I think it was just a hype. It didn't quite live up to that. It's the best reviewed movie ever on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm like, oh, okay, let me see what this is. And it's just it's a coming of age story. It's a good coming of age story. It's a very good coming of age story. But nothing really stood out about it. Whereas if she didn't get nominated for that, I'd be like, okay, but no, this is so well done, and there was so much room for this to go poorly, that the fact that it came out the way it did is fantastic on its own. And on that note, we'll wrap up for today. We will be back with probably 1917 will be the next movie, or Weathering with You. I'm not sure which yet, but we will see. And that will be at some point in the next few days. Until that point, have a great rest of your day. And we'll be back with more later this week.